I now call to order the City Council meeting of Monday, March 14th, 2022. The time is 7:02 p.m. Opening prayer, Jamie.
Right. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that might affect all who live and work and visit our community. And continue to remind us that all we do here tonight, all that we accomplish, is for the pursuit of truth for the services of our community. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member Schroyer?
Here.
Member Orr?
Here.
Member Revolt?
Here.
Member Wyrick?
Here.
Member Matheny?
Here.
Member McLeister?
Here.
Member Waring?
Right, let the record reflect that Member Warren is joining us virtually. Consideration, can I have a motion and a second to approve as presented minutes from February 14th? What's that? Oh, 28th, March 7th, the February 2022 finance report and chapters 159, 741, 907, 953, 1136, 1143, 1191, and 1739 as amended or established by recent legislation.
1141, not 1143.
1141, sorry.
I'll make that motion. Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we will have recognition of the public. Members of the public wishing to address council may do so. Each speaker will be granted 5 minutes. Please come to the podium and begin by stating your name and address for the record. As a reminder, the rules are posted on the screen to the audience right, and a violation of the rules is grounds for suspension for speaking privileges. Anybody wishing to?
Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast, North Canton, Ohio. When I walked in here 2010, there was more than a quorum of council members here, and the remaining members came in shortly after that. I would like to know where my councilman is. Are virtual attendance now permitted by law? How much longer is this going to be allowed? Can anybody answer that?
Virtual participation is permitted by law until June.
Till June.
Till June.
July
So she will be
1st, to
allowed
be
to
exact.
vote.
Excuse me?
July 1st,
July 1st.
2022, to be exact.
So she will be allowed to participate in votes.
Yes.
I don't know why Mrs. Waring can't attend when all of you
Mr. Osborne?
are here.
Mr. Osborne?
I'm speaking, Mrs. Waring. So I've seen this go on for 10 years. This is pathetic representation. And as you all heard back in January, she refused publicly on the record to come and look into a complaint that I had. This is not the kind of elected representation that I would expect from my councilman. And Mrs. Wyrick joined in, refusing to come and look into a complaint. You are here to ask questions on behalf of residents, to scrutinize, criticize, and vote accordingly. But I just never, ever see it. You're just an extension of the government, relaying what government wants to do. And it's too bad you don't want to televise this so people can hear it. Your audio is horrendous, and your video is pathetic. I thank Mr. Young for putting up the video camera, rather than just leave it sitting on the shelf collecting dust. But as I said when I first came in here to speak against the decision to stop videotaping, the minute I walked in here, it was obvious this room, you cannot videotape. It is so small. Probably 15 years ago, when we were going round and round about whether to transcribe minutes and everybody was praising the fact that we put them on audio tapes, the video of the audio. I went up to the city of Greene. You'd be blown away by the quality of their council chamber, their videotaping room. They have multiple cameras to videotape the entire body and the speakers who come to speak. So this is nothing I would run up the flag and cheer about, the way the city functions for its citizens. Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address public tonight? Okay, the floor is closed. At this time, may I have a motion and a second to enter into executive session for the purpose of discussing the purchase of property for public purposes as permitted by ORC 121-22G2.
Will move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Roll call.
Oh, roll call.
Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member McLeister?
Yes.
Member Wyrick?
Yes.
Member Warren? Back to Member Warren. Member Troya?
Yes.
Member Volt?
Yes.
Member Warren votes yes. Member Volt?
Votes yes.
Member Matheny?
Yes.
Member Orr?
Yes.
With 7-4-0 against, the motion carries.
Thank you, Ben. At this time, council will enter into executive session. To let the record reflect, council would like Mayor Wilder, the Director of Administration, the Deputy Director of Administration, the Director of Finance, Wayne Boyer, and Terry Moore from the city's legal counsel to join council in executive session. Let the record further reflect that Member Warren will be joining the session by phone. We are now off the record.
Hello? I'm here. Sorry, I couldn't hear you the whole time. Sorry about that. Don't know what's going on. All good.
Okay, may I have a motion and a second to adjourn from executive session?
So
moves.
second.
All in favor?
Second,
Aye.
Waring.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Let the record reflect that no action was taken. Moving on to no business, or new business, old business, sorry. Could I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 7-2022?
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries.
An ordinance amending Title V Administration of the Planning and Zoning Code of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton in order to establish more efficient and effective and efficient zoning review and amendment processes.
All right, in your packets, you have the memo dated March 14th that describes the changes that we have proposed with the rewriting of Title V. But you also have attached behind it a page that is noted as section 1191.99 or chapter 1199 enforcement and penalties. The attorneys have recommended that we amend the ordinance for consideration tonight to include a new section entitled 1191.100 violation and penalty for source water protection. So we have already adopted this language in another location. We're folding this identical location into this particular ordinance, so it is in both places. I would just call your attention to the fact, as you look at this, in paragraphs 2 and 3, A2, A3, you will note that the penalties for violating the ordinance are substantial. And I think that speaks to the significance that we attach to the source water protection legislation and this zone. Are there any questions? The administration, do you have anything to weigh in on? No. If there are no questions or additional comments, then I would make a motion to amend ordinance
I have it right here.
7-22. Go ahead and read it, sir.
Yep. Can I have a motion and a second to amend ordinance 7-2022, specifically chapter 1191, to include the penalty provisions previously adopted by section 2 of ordinance 70-2021 for said chapter as shown in the council's packet.
That's a thing of beauty. I will make that motion.
I will second that one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then can I have a motion and a second to adopt the third reading of ordinance 7-2022
As amended.
as amended?
Revolt moves.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance 8-2022. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 8-2022?
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 145 Planning Commission of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton.
This ordinance, 8-22 and 9-22, are carve out establishing in the code, the planning commission, a set of rules, as well as establishing the ZBA and its set of rules as well. It's been discussed. I've had no comments to the contrary. I would move the adoption of the third and final reading of ordinance 8-22.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's
Second.
Second.
It should be the third reading, is it not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it is the
It
third.
should be the third reading.
Third reading and a motion.
Should be the third.
Let's pull a mulligan then. I will make a motion to adopt the third reading of ordinance 8-22.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 9-2022.
Revolt moves.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 147, Zoning and Building Standards Board of Appeals of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton.
Is there any further discussion on this? Seeing none, I'll move the adoption of the third reading of ordinance 9-22.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to 22-2022. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only 22-2022?
Make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending the boundaries of the wards of the City of North Canton pursuant to Article 2.02 of the Charter of the City of North Canton and laws of the State of Ohio.
Well, this is the third reading of this. The wards are all within 2% of each other. Makes sense in doing this. And we've had 2 other readings on this and no discussion, so I make a motion.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to new business. Resolution number 25-2022. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only, Resolution 25-2022?
Revolt moves.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And have a motion and a second to
What?
adopt. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
A resolution to proceed and declaration of official intent to finance the purchase of major equipment to be purchased in 2022 with a maximum principal amount expected to be financed of $500,000 and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Stephanie, you there?
Okay, yep, I'm here. Okay, we've got the asphalt paving equipment and then the valve turning truck. They were already in the budget. There really wasn't any discussion last week, so I moved to adopt.
I think before we do that, I would like to mention and make it on record, the reason we're doing this by emergency is the fact that the
Oh.
potential for increases in these vehicles as things are continually raising in price, that it is a good idea to move this through on an emergency for council to make sure that we
Well,
get the prices now they've quoted before they go up
Right,
again.
and last time Pat mentioned that, and it wasn't even a good idea. It's out of necessity. Either we move on it and get that price or we don't. So
Yep.
that's why we're doing it. And Pat mentioned that last time. Okay.
Revolt moves adoption.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Revolt moves suspension of rules.
Second?
Waren second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And Revolt moves adoption of the rules as suspended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance 26-2022. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 26-2022?
I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
An ordinance amending Chapter 103 Official Standards of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton in order to adopt a new city seal.
Okay, it's really not a new city seal. We've been using it for quite some time. We were known as the Dogwood City for many years. Now it's the North Canton, the NC that you see up there. So something we need to do. Make a motion.
I'll second it. Seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 27-2022?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance repealing Chapter 701 General Licensing Provisions of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton.
All right, we probably should have read the next one first, but this is telling people how to apply and get the applications in for this.
John, can you speak up?
Sure. Sorry about that. Is this better? My throat's kind of bad. So this is it tells the applicants how to apply for these different permits that you'll hear about in the next one. So, I don't see a problem with this. It really needs to be done. So I would go ahead and make a motion that we go on to the second reading on this.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to ordinance 29, 2022. Can I have a motion and a second to
28.
read by title only? 28, 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
An ordinance repealing Chapter 709, Commercial Amusements of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton.
Well, with this, this could go for amusement rides, plays, all of this, stuff they need to, apply, and we have to okay those. And then it's also to eliminate, the word minstrel from there, which goes back into the 40s, 50s. So I make a motion to accept this.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 29-2022.
I will move.
Second.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 137, Department of Police of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton, specifically Section 137.04, Personnel, in order to increase the authorized number of police sergeants to 6.
So last week in our committee of the whole meeting, Chief Kemp made a very good presentation on his need to adjust the sergeants, raise them from 5 to 6, but in turn not raise the number of police officers on staff. And this is going to allow them the flexibility that they need for efficient scheduling and better protections for the residents of the North Canton. I'll make a motion. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion that we pass this.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Can I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 30-2022?
Revolt will move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance accepting a record plat of Monticello Phase 8 located within the corporate limits of the City of North Canton.
Okay, so this is mine. This came from Planning Commission back in February. We discussed it last meeting, last committee of the whole, and now it's here. They've met their obligations. Everything is in accordance to what everything needs. So I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on that, but it's pretty an easy one. So I make a motion to
Adopt.
move that forward.
Revolt will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's move on to department reports. Deputy Director of Administration.
Thank you, Mr. President. I will just first start by saying, welcome a new full-time general labor employee to our Parks Department. His name is Michael Tozzi. Nice young man. This was a backfill position, not something new, but something definitely needed. We have high standards in all North Canton parks, and so we need someone like this. Great attitude, good experience. And as we know, the biggest question, and everybody says to me constantly, is when is the Dogwood Park going to be finished? So I'm just saying right now, mid-April is what we're shooting for. I'm not going to give a concrete date yet because of weather factors and the ground being, waiting till it unthaws. But here's where we are now. Last week, if you drove by, you'll see the turf is down. It's like a nice, thick, lush green color, and that's the ADA accessible, very nice adaptive turf. The guys hoped to be finished, and then that lovely snow came in on Friday. So that sent them away, and they're going to come back again this week to finish. The biggest excitement this week is the delivery of the prefabricated solid concrete restroom facility. So I'm working, with Chief Kemp on getting the oversized vehicle load permit on that, because that is going to come on two 85-foot trucks, 150,000 pounds each. It's in two sections. It's 4 restaurant facilities. It'll be offloaded by a crane and set onto the prepared pad where we already have the electrical and plumbing stubbed up. So that's going to be happening on the 16th. So they'll have the police escort through town after they exit at Portage off 77 North that's coming out of West Virginia. And so people are going to see that. It's going to look like overnight an entire facility was built. And this is withstands all weather, all the way up to a seismic 4 tornado. Big building. I'll just go high level on all the other stuff that has to get done. We have the concrete to finish. We have light poles and cameras. We have electrical work, the sub panel and the lighting, power to the pavilion. The bioswale materials, those were those 2 additional bioswales. We had to account for water quality as well as water quantity. So we're working with Stark Soil and Water Conservation District on the type of materials they'll need to put in the basins. Later, we'll need to get the finished coat on the parking lots, stripe the parking lots. We have to finish the Masonic shelter. If you looked off Orchard, people keep asking, there was a panel that was defective, and that should be coming in about 2 weeks. And we'll get that up there. We'll finish over there. Final inspections. We have landscaping issues that are also dependent on, it's got to be warm out, can't be too cold, but then again, the soil can't be too wet. And grass seed, they don't think is optimal to get in until mid-May. Then we'll take down the temporary fence, and we will get the date when I have it, the solid date, and then plan for a ribbon cutting, like all of council there, mayor. We'll have some significant groups, benefactors that were important to the project, the school, and that's what I have for now. But it's exciting, and I think I'll videotape this delivery of this facility with the crane, and I'll throw it up on the city Facebook page. People like that, so that's all I have.
Nice, thank you, Catherine.
Sure.
Director of Administration.
Let you know that the pickleball courts at Arrowhead are in a similar time frame. We have to wait for the asphalt plants to open to get the final coat, striping, sealing. The poles, the nets, the fence are on premise. They just can't be installed until this other process is done. So that should be completed mid-April as well.
Nice.
That's all.
Mayor Lauder.
Yes, thank you. Nothing to report other than appreciate the work that our department heads are doing, and progress has come to fruition here as the spring weather opens up. But thank you.
Thank you. Director of Finance.
If you had no questions on the monthly finance report, I know we're only 2 months into the year, so I won't address anything with that. I did want to update you on the interviewing of the deputy finance director position. We're in the middle of those. We are bringing someone back for a second interview tomorrow, so I'll keep you updated on the process or the progress of that. And then just a reminder for our public that the tax filing deadline is April 18th. All forms, everything is available on ritaohio.com.
I think I heard some boos in the background. Council Clerk, Ben.
Just like to update everyone on the Assistant Clerk of Council. We've completed final interviews and we'll be picking our final candidate shortly. And then, if you remember back at the beginning of the year, you all approved a supplemental appropriation for council technology for the 7 of you. As you can see by all of you with your iPads, that rollout has been completed, and part of that was city phone numbers, which was a concern we heard from residents that they want to be able to call you all. So those, as of this morning, are now live on the city website, that your city phone numbers are out there for the public to reach. And that's it.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to council reports. Let's go with Jamie.
All right. Hey, along with this technology, I want to thank Ben for all you did with getting us set up here. Even despite the fact that I have a Samsung phone, I have learned how to answer calls on it. So as an Apple guy, I'll come around eventually. But thank you for your initiative and the work you put in on that. So the only other thing I wanted to do is I just wanted to thank Patrick, and I think it went to Kathy and also I think to Rob and possibly Marty. There was a resident who reached out with some questions around some flooding and got a lot of work out of these people over here. I want to thank you all very much for the time you put in on that. So beyond that, I have nothing else to report.
All All right, Ward 2, David.
So I have a couple of things to go over, and maybe a little longer than I normally take. So Mr. Diorio and I were having a conversation. We were talking about job descriptions and certain positions, and came across the fact that we don't actually have a job description for our city engineer. So I've tasked him and his team to put together that and to make sure that that Mr. Graham is reviewed under that, and that he is compensated at the level that he is performing, and that it matches the job description. We're adding to his workload. We're adding the new paver that we voted on tonight, and that needs to be incorporated in that as he's planning now more streets to pave. And just so everybody knows, I asked Ben to put together just a quick number for me. So since 2020, Mr. Graham has provided the city with over $8 million in grant money to help towards that. He is an asset to the city, and I think it's important that we get this matched up for him. So that's the first thing I wanted to cover. And Mayor Wilder allowed me to take the next one. He is also reaching out to these individuals, but I wanted to make a note because Mrs. Farina had sent me an email today that the city of North Canton has always supported their fire and EMS and their police, but specifically fire and EMS with the levy this past year that they passed. And 3 of our first responders were involved here this past week or so. And I want to make sure I can get to this part here and read this. Alan DeGuzman? DeGuzman, thank you. Brandon Hinkle and Jake Morton. They responded to, nobody wants to call for fire and EMS, but they responded to an incident, and it was a segment elevation myocardial infraction. A lot of big words for somebody that's not on the medical field, but the important thing is response time. And normally those response times are like 90 minutes from the time they first arrive on the scene until the actual doctors and everything are involved. And our team did that in 47 minutes. And that is an attributing to their efficiency and their effectiveness and how well that they do their job. And I think those 3 gentlemen that did that is a testimony to the strength and the power of our fire and EMS. And I just wanted to bring that up. I know that the mayor is going to reach out to them directly, and I think it's important that we realize that the assets that we have in our people here in North Canton. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Stephanie. We can come back to Stephanie. Let's go to John.
Well, Ben, thank you for the iPads and the phones and posting those phone numbers. A few phone calls, but thank you. Catherine, good job on the park. It's looking great. And that's all on my report today.
Hey, you can come back to me.
Okay, your turn.
Sorry. Ben was making sure I didn't speak out of turn. He had to unmute me. That is fine. Yeah, I totally agree. Dave, that was great that you're having those job descriptions set up. I know that it was something that Kathy's been working on really since she started here. We were lacking those job descriptions for many people, and it's definitely now a part of all the human resources, and I think just helps us get better candidates. And it was one of the things she was working with Gina on, and making sure that the salaries were compensatory to what people were doing and in the range that they needed to be. So that's great. And just after our exec and hearing just all the great things that I've been privy to know about because of the finance position, I just want to thank the whole exec team and Patrick really for making so much of this happen. And I think it's really exciting what we're going to see moving forward with the city and just some of the opportunities that we're going to be able to have. So thank you to that whole team. And Kathy, I can't wait to see the park. And I know our city members are going to be so excited about that. Also, just in regards to being able to be remote, I work full time as all of you do, and I've worked my whole life full time, so I am allowed to take vacation as all of you are. And I'm kind of thrilled that the state legislator recognized that, and with still issues they're having with COVID and different things, so that people could be remote. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to be on this. So just to be able to do that and take a little bit of time of my vacation, which was no big deal, to be a part of this important meeting was significant. And I look at it as a step forward for our state, for our community governments, because it allows people to move forward on things. If we needed certain votes today and this enabled us to move forward on a project, then that is significant. And I think that is forward thinking on all parties. So I hope that, I know other people have been off on different weeks, and I know that, maybe you can call in. And if you can't, that's okay too. But this allows us to move in that direction. I know tomorrow I'm going to be on 2 Zooms for work, and yet I'm not there. So that it's a good thing. And I appreciate those that recognize that. So that's it.
Thanks for hanging on for almost 2 hours.
That's pretty good, right?
That's impressive, virtually.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I appreciate that. That means a lot. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. Daryl?
I'd like to, if I can, play upon 2 points that Dave mentioned. The first is that for those who are listening, Rob Graham's success with grants, $8 million, is the equivalent of 1 year's complete income tax receipts, roughly. That is astonishing. And I think it underscores the value that he has in this community. It's really, really amazing when you think about it. The second is, before I came up tonight, I caught a TV5 segment about EMS in Northeastern Ohio and the challenges that communities were having funding and staffing their EMS. And I think, as Dave indicated, we are very proud of the professionals that we have. And I think it's, for all of us around the table, I think it's important that that crew understand that we support them in their activities, in their professional efforts. Because clearly in other places in Northeast Ohio, they're struggling. And we don't want to come to that point, ever. That's my report.
All right. Thank you, Daryl. Christine?
I think I'd just like to say I attended a Main Street Festival meeting this afternoon. And Main Street Festival will be August 13th, but there were several city employees in attendance, Brian Hill and Steve Shank and Matt Morrow and Kelly Hart. And I'm going to echo what everyone else has been saying. This team that's in place here is incredible. And the knowledge that they have and the history that they have and the fact that they've stuck around. And this meeting was over in 40 minutes, and that's unheard of because we're like, yeah, bleachers, yeah, wrestling ring, yeah, we're going to close the streets at this time. So just these people are amazing. And I think I just am really proud too of the collaboration in the city, between the city and the businesses, the organizations. Dogwood, how many different groups are involved and, have funded and are partnering on making that park happen. And all of these things, I just feel like the city's working together. I feel like there's cohesion that I didn't see 10 years ago when I came to North Canton. So it's just awesome to watch, and I'm proud to be part of it. And
Thank you, Christina. Do you want to mention the Story Walk collaboration?
I can. So the North Canton Library will be installing a story walk as part of the Dogwood Park along the trail. I don't know if everyone knows what a story walk is, but essentially we have 12 posts that kind of have like a plexiglass cover on them, and what you just take apart like a children's book. And so each month we'll have families or whoever wants to be able to walk and read a page, and then walk a little further and read the next page. So we're really excited to be able to be part of that. But the library is just one of, I think several partners who helped bring this all together.
Very cool.
That's neat.
All right. Thank you. My turn. piggybacking off Rob Graham, not only his grants, but his organization and his planning are absolutely incredible. How he sees his future and, is able to handle the money that we have, and plan out all the streets. It's amazing. So I'm a huge fan, and he's just one of the key people on our group, like everybody keeps saying. So Patrick, thanks for Pi Day. That was fantastic.
Gina and Rob, too.
And Gina and Rob, and everybody else. Buy and support local, that's it. Final call for new business. Okay, let's look at the meetings calendar. On March 21st, we're having a public hearing. It's 6:45 PM. March 21st, we're having committee of the whole at 7 PM. March 28th, we're having a regular city council meeting. The next week would be Easter spring break. And then on April 11th, we're having a public hearing at 6:45. Any additions to the calendar?
Is there a meeting on April 11th besides that it just got cut off?
I think it probably got cut off.
Yeah, so normally I just include the next month, but we scheduled that hearing last week, so just to make sure
Oh,
that
gotcha.
we remembered, we scheduled it, I included it.
So there will be a meeting on?
Yes.
There will
Okay.
be a meeting both April 4th and April 11th.
Very good.
Oh, okay, so April 4th, okay. That's my bad. So, not taking,
You are not,
Yeah, right.
unless you all vote for it right now.
No, too late. All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Adjourned.
Hi, here. Utensil.